Pick up a coffee mug. Go ahead, imagine holding one right now. It's smooth, hard, waterproof, and it can hold boiling liquid without breaking. You probably don't think twice about it. But that simple object in your hand represents one of the most profound technological leaps in human history. Because here's what that mug really is. It's a rock that humans created from mud. We took soft, wet clay from the ground, shaped it with our hands, and then transformed it using heat into something completely new, something that never existed in nature. We didn't just find this material, we invented it. This is pottery. And it's not just about making cups and bowls. Pottery represents the moment when humans stopped simply using what nature provided and started fundamentally transforming matter itself. We had already mastered fire to cook our food. But pottery was using fire to change the atomic structure of materials. It was chemistry, it was engineering, it was the beginning of materials science. And once humans figured this out, once we realized we could use heat to permanently transform clay into ceramic, everything changed. Because if you can turn mud into stone, what else can you transform? What about sand into glass? Or rocks into metal? Pottery opened the door to metallurgy, to glassmaking, to the entire technological foundation of civilization. So let me take you back to about 20,000 years ago, when some genius human being looked at wet clay, looked at fire, and had an idea that would change the world forever. The technology that unlocked materials science. But here's where pottery gets truly profound. The real revolution wasn't just about making containers. It was about the concept itself, using heat to permanently transform materials. Once humans understood that fire could change clay into ceramic, it was only a matter of time before someone asked, what else can fire transform? Around 6,000 years ago, someone discovered that if you heat certain rocks, specifically copper ore, to extreme temperatures, the metal melts out. This is smelting. This is metallurgy. And it's based on exactly the same principle as pottery. Heat causes permanent chemical transformation. The same kilns that fired pottery were adapted to smelt copper, then bronze, then iron. The entire Bronze Age and Iron Age are direct descendants of the pottery revolution. The furnaces, the temperature control techniques, the understanding of how heat changes matter, all of this started with pottery. Glass came from pottery kilns too. Someone noticed that at very high temperatures, certain mixtures of sand and ash would melt and, when cooled, form transparent glass. The first glass objects were made in pottery kilns around 5,000 years ago. Even modern materials, science, ceramics, engineering, metallurgy, glass technology, all trace their intellectual lineage back to that first person who noticed that fire transforms clay into something new. Pottery taught humans that we could be creators, not just users. We could invent new materials that didn't exist in nature. We could engineer substances with properties we needed. This is the mindset that eventually gave us steel, plastic, silicon chips, and every other engineered material in modern civilization. The art and the science, there's something else beautiful about pottery. It's where art and science first merged. Every culture that developed pottery decorated it. They painted it, carved patterns into it, shaped it into elaborate forms. Pottery became a canvas for human creativity. Archaeological sites are often dated by pottery styles because they changed so rapidly and distinctly across cultures and time periods. But this artistic expression was built on scientific understanding. You had to know chemistry to create different colored glazes. You had to understand physics to build a pot that wouldn't crack when heated. You had to master engineering to construct kilns that reached precise temperatures. Some of the most beautiful objects ever created are ceramic, Chinese porcelain, Greek amphory, Japanese tea bowls. These aren't just containers, they're masterpieces that represent thousands of years of accumulated technical and artistic knowledge. So the next time you pour yourself coffee into a ceramic mug, or eat from a porcelain plate, or see a clay pot in a museum, take a moment to appreciate what you're really looking at. You're re-looking at fire's cousin, the technology that taught humans we could transform the world at a molecular level. You're looking at the innovation that made agriculture possible, that enabled food storage and population growth, that created the first true specialists and craftspeople. You're looking at the conceptual foundation of all materials, science, the ancestor of metallurgy and glassmaking, and every engineered material in modern civilization. Pottery wasn't just about making containers. It was about human beings realizing that we didn't have to accept the world as we found it. We could change it. We could take mud and make stone. We could take what was soft and temporary and make it hard and permanent. And once we understood that, once we internalized that fire could transform matter itself, there was no limit to what we could create. From clay pots to steel skyscrapers to silicon computer chips, it all started with someone 20,000 years ago, noticing that heated clay turns into something magical. That's the pottery revolution, and we're still living in it today.